Beware the all-in-one systems.
Hey there, I'm Jillian Kendrick, and welcome to the Momentum Marketing Podcast. I'm a mama, a wife, an entrepreneur, and a 3-time best-selling co-author. In each episode, you'll get real-world practical advice and strategies, and maybe a parenting tip or two along the way. If you're ready to create a business that supports your family and your lifestyle, then you're in the right place.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast. I am so grateful that you're here. And in fact, we're coming up in just really a few days. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of this podcast. I am so proud of this podcast. I am excited about this podcast. I hope that you, the listener, have been enriched by this podcast, that it has enlightened your world, that it has given you inspiration, that it has taught you a thing or two about marketing, maybe taught you a thing or two about parenting, or at least shared my woes about parenting. And I just want to say thank you so much for being on this journey with me. It really means the world to me when I get an email from someone or I see that a listener has commented and left me a review, which by the way, I have really good, like all 5 stars on iTunes. I'm really excited about that. So thank you. It means a lot to me, and it is an important part of my job to know that I'm bringing value to you and that you're getting something out of this. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I know I've been saying this for the last several weeks in a row, but I'm going to sound the alarm bell once again. Last week, February 1st, was the due date, the due date that we've been talking about for a really long time in terms of getting your email authentication done. So if you own a business and you do any kind of email sending, and I really do believe this. Now, a lot of people will tell you, well, only if you send marketing emails. Google says only if you send to a list of 5,000 or more, but Yahoo says it doesn't matter how many you send to. If you send emails, we want this stuff done. You need to get your authentication, or you needed to get your authentication complete. So don't worry if you missed the February 1st deadline. I want to just set you at ease and let you know that here's what I would recommend. If your DKIM, SPF, DMARC, and a few other steps aren't set up yet, I would recommend a couple of things. Number one, of course, head over to automatedmama.com/authentication and grab your copy now of Inbox Success, because that is going to walk you through all of the compliance steps that you need to complete or need to have been completed by the 1st of February. And again, it's totally fine if you haven't done it yet. It is a little bit too late, but there is still hope. So make sure you grab your copy if you haven't already. It's still a really, really good deal. I have not raised the price yet because I know that there are people out there who still need this, but it is going to go up probably next week. With that said, the second thing that I would recommend is, if you can help it, and I know like we use email for communication and for business and for a lot of things, but if you can help it, do not send any emails, especially marketing emails, to your list, regardless of the size, until your authentication is done. I know it's going to hurt. I know you're going to lose some attention. I get it. But trust me, it will hurt your business a whole lot more if you end up in Google jail and can't get out than if you spend 3 days to make sure that your compliance stuff is set up correctly. And then once it's done, once we walk through those things together inside of Inbox Success, then you'll be good to go. And of course, if you have any questions about it, you can email me, hello@jilliankendrick.com. A quick segue to a parenting segment. If anybody out there has potty training advice for boys, I have tried, begged, plead, prodded, been gentle, been screamy, been bribed, lots of bribery, lots of chocolate, lots of new toys in our house. And for the life of me, I am just having the hardest time with potty training our son right now. So if anybody out there has ideas on potty training, specifically number 2, I am all ears. I would love to know how you did it, what you did, what worked, what doesn't work. Email me. Thank you. onto the topic at hand, let's talk about all-in-one systems. So please forgive me as I'm about to get on my soapbox, but this truly comes from a place of love. And I want to make sure that you can have the most informed decision on the system that you're going to use for your business. So whether you have some kind of system or software or automation or whatever that runs your business now, whether you're thinking about switching to a different one, whether you are thinking about starting, this is absolutely applicable. So I've been noticing really over the years, I've noticed that anytime a client would sign up for one piece of software or a different piece of software or this thing or that thing, there was always this expectation that this piece of software was going to solve all of their problems. And the reality is that it's not, right? Like, in the same way that one doctor's visit probably won't cure someone of a terrible disease, one piece of software or just buying the thing and never touching it and never using it is not going to solve all of your problems, right? I'm sorry, I love you, but some tough love here, some real talk here. It's just not, period. And I found that immediately when people would get disappointed about the software not doing what they wanted it to, or not solving a problem that the software wasn't capable of, there was a lot of that, that, and it doesn't matter what piece of software, you can look at Keep, you can look at Zapier, you can look at High Level, you can look at Slack, you can look at Google Suite, you can look at 1,000 different pieces of software out there. They're not all going to do everything that you need it to. And the topic that we're talking about today is to beware of the all-in-one softwares. I am seeing more and more different software companies are starting to design new pieces of software and new tools and technology to be the all-in-ones. I'm seeing companies changing their software and adapting to client feedback. And although that's a good thing, like, let me just say, if there's software out there and you're not adapting to your clients' needs and your clients' feedback, like, shame on you. That's not a good thing. But there needs to be discernment between a customer giving a piece of feedback that can actually help them or help multiple clients or help thousands of different clients and customers versus a piece of feedback that is given from the perspective of, some real talk, y'all, from the perspective of laziness or a desire to not do the work and have the software or the thing be the little blue magic pill and solve all of their problems. Like, it just doesn't work that way. In fact, over the last 13 years of my career, I have worked with thousands upon thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs. Some of them very excited and had an idea and didn't have a business. Some of them had just started their business and were brand new and getting up and running and needed a lot of help. Some of them had just recently bought a business or were a franchisee or a franchisor. Some of them had inherited a business. Some of them were working for a business and then took on other higher level roles. Some of them were running very mildly successful businesses. Some of them were running very successful multi-million dollars a year businesses. So I've run the gamut of working with every type of entrepreneur at every level in so many different types of businesses, from lawyers, doctors, florists, makeup artists, eyelash extension installers, massage therapists, coaches, consultants, business consultants, fractional CMOs, fractional CFOs, accountants, contractors, roofers, virtual assistants, software developers, and so many more. And I can honestly say that apart from some success, some trial and error, a bit of getting over our own fears and egos, and a few other things. The big thing that sets apart the wannabe-preneurs from the really successful multi-million dollar coaches, consultants, business owners is the multi-million dollar companies are willing to invest. They're willing to invest in themselves, in their business, in their people. They're willing to invest not only money, but time, dedication, resources, and more to making the thing that they want to work work. The clients that I've worked with that have given up have often been the ones who come in and say, oh, well, this piece of software doesn't do this thing, or that piece of software will help me follow up with clients, but it won't help me get clients, or that piece of software has email marketing but doesn't have text messaging, or that piece of software does blah, 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 right? Insert whatever they believe their problem is. And the reality is, yes, lots of software have limitations. I could not tell you a piece of software that exists to this day that solves every business owner's problem under the sun, right? Like it doesn't exist. But what I can tell you is the really, really successful ones say, okay, we need text messaging. This software doesn't have it. We're going to go get another piece of software and add on to it. Okay, we need this for saving files. We're going to go get another piece of software, and they stack and stack and stack and stack and put all the things together. Those are the entrepreneurs that are truly successful. Those are the entrepreneurs that have that entrepreneur fire in their blood because they look at a problem and they say, okay, how can I solve this? Not, oh, this is a problem and I'm just going to give up, or this tool doesn't have what I need. It's all a failure. No, they invest in themselves, they invest in their business, they stack software, and they put things together. The last thing that I'll say about pieces of software in terms of being aware of the all-in-one softwares and the softwares that promise everything under the sun, my email platform is different than my social media platform. It's different than my text messaging platform, and it's different than a few other key things that we use in our business in order to run everything. And even though, no, I'm not thrilled as a business owner that I have to like feel nickeled and dimed and pay for this and $100 for that and $15 a month for this and da 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 da. Right? I totally get where people are coming from, but here's what I love about doing that instead of the all-in-one promise everything softwares is if my email platform goes down, I can still do social and I can still send text messages. If my texting platform goes down, I can still send email, I can still do social, I can still do, all of that sort of stuff. But if you have everything under one roof, if your business is dependent only on Facebook, if your business is dependent only on a certain automation software, if your business is dependent only on, Buffer to send social posts or Slack for messaging or Google Suite for everything else, and one of those goes down, you're dead in the water until that software comes back online. And yeah, it's not ideal. You feel nickeled and dimed. I totally get it. But let me tell you, when things are separate in that way and one goes down, you have the other systems that you can rely on to still market, to still communicate, to still stay connected to your audience and to your customers. What if you were running, I don't know, let's say a plumbing business and you lost the ability to email people to remind them that they were having an appointment today, but you could still send text messages? Isn't that better than losing everything all at one time? This is why I don't advocate for the all-in-one systems. And I know there are people out there that love the all-in-one system. I get it. I totally get it. I'm not knocking that. Some of them are very reliable, some of them a little bit more than others. But the place that I'm coming from is I want you to have the ability to make money and make sales every single day. Whether or not you actually make it, I want you to have the ability to do that. And when your software goes down, when the pieces of your business fail, you lose that ability. If you're more interested in information about the kind of tech that I use in my business, the kind of tech that I use inside of my clients' businesses, you can always email me, hello@jilliankendrick.com. And if this actually is a topic that people are interested in, I would be happy to put together like a tech stack webinar and training for everyone to listen to. So give me some feedback. Let me know what you think, and we'll put that together. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast. If listening to this has brought you value, improved your life, or given you insight on how you can build your own momentum, then please share this with a friend. And if you're ready to grow your business on autopilot, then I want to help you get there easier and faster with a free copy of my Entrepreneur Survival Kit. Just leave a review of this podcast wherever you're listening right now. Hopefully it's a 5-star review and you love it. Then screenshot the review and email the screenshot to hello@jilliankendrick.com. Once we confirm the review, we'll send you a copy of the survival kit totally free. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next episode. All content is written and recorded by Jillian Kendrick. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
Subscribe.